This story begins with Sandy, who is very happy in the morning, greeting everyone. But it seems that others do not want to be woken up so early. Sandy, just like in the series, spends her time with her formulas and scientific experiments, which turns into an adventure with her friends in Bikini Bottom. Meanwhile, SpongeBob wants to teach her a new experiment, how to catch jellyfish. Bob tries to show off his great skills, but the problem is that Sandy detects a great danger approaching Bikini Bottom, a claw that comes down and ends up trapping the entire place, causing complete chaos. As Bikini Bottom descends into chaos, we see popular characters like Squidward, Mr. Krabs, Plankton, and many others realizing that everything is lost. In a panic, everyone tries to escape. Fortunately, SpongeBob and Sandy manage to save themselves just in time and see how the claw captures everyone. Sandy notices the brand of the company that sent the claw, which is called Boots, and learns that they are dedicated to selling sea creatures on the surface. This discovery disheartens Bob, as he feels low for having lost his friends and their entire home. Sandy suggests that they go to the surface to rescue their friends. She begins to do her mathematical calculations to find a way out. At that moment, they see a large current going upwards. According to Sandy's calculations, they can use it to reach the surface. They take some improvised boards and start their journey. Along the way, they encounter some problems, but they manage to overcome them together. Thanks to their teamwork, they reach the surface, where, in the middle of the sky, Sandy transforms in pure style. From Transformers, so they manage to reach the wing of a plane. But, unfortunately, SpongeBob begins to dehydrate. Luckily, Sandy has a special cream to restore him, and soon he looks much better, well, at least for a few minutes. Bob begins to miss his old friend Squidward, but Sandy reassures him that they will save him soon. As they get closer to the company, they jump out of the plane. Sandy, being a flying squirrel, glides through the air, planning to land in a swimming pool. However, a tornado ends up absorbing them, deviating them from their path and landing them far away in a desert. Bob takes the worst hit, ending up dehydrated again. Fortunately, Sandy knows how to restore him once more. The bad news is that they realize they are very far from their friends. Meanwhile, at the Boots Company, the friends are unsure of what to do. Mr. Krabs notices that the place is chaotic. He hears something terrifying and thinks it's the end, but then realizes it's only Gary. Then he hears another noise and finds it's Patrick. However, he soon sees two Boots workers watching them. At that moment, the Boots director arrives, excited about her new projects. She is delighted with her mutant fish, Guacala. Meanwhile, SpongeBob and Sandy are on their way, but the bad news is that they run into some cowboys from the Old West who are snakes, so a confrontation is inevitable. Unfortunately, Sandy ends up being bitten by one of them, and everything seems lost for her. Luckily, she calls her relatives, who arrive in no time: her father, mother, grandmother, and two brothers. They quickly take control of the situation while Bob notices that they are circus performers. Thanks to them, they manage to defeat the cowboy snakes and cure Sandy. Sandy's father offers to take them to their destination. Meanwhile, the director of Boots realizes there are some delays with their projects because she wants her henchmen to find a way for the marine creatures to breathe out of water so she can sell them. As they travel, Sandy reminisces about the old adventures she had with her family and starts to miss those moments. Bob realizes how great Sandy's family is, making the journey more pleasant. Back at the Boots Company, the captured friends, Squidward, Patrick, and Mr. Krabs, are being experimented on. They drop food for them, which they eagerly eat since it's free. The experiments show that they can survive out of water, and the director brings in some kids to see if Bob's friends are fun. To her delight, they pass all the tests, making the director very happy with the results. On the other hand, Bob's family is pursued by the authorities. They try to avoid them, but end up back in the tornado, with the patrol still following them. At that moment, Sandy manages to stop the tornado, allowing them to escape. Unfortunately, more patrols arrive, so Sandy and Bob prepare a launcher while Sandy's family assures her they will meet again later. They launch themselves directly to the pool from before. Sandy and Bob try to find the Boots Company, but are chased by a dog. Luckily, they manage to evade the dog and locate the company. They head towards it, but the dog keeps pursuing them. Eventually, they manage to evade the dog completely and enter the laboratory. Bob reunites with Gary and his other friends, trying hard to see each other again, but the henchmen arrive and capture Bob. At the same time, Sandy realizes the place is a laboratory, deducing their intentions. She attacks the director but gets caught as well. They lock poor Sandy up while Bob is put on a train for another experiment. Sandy can't believe what's happening and asks the director why she's doing this. The director reveals that since she was very little, she was always fascinated with fish. She once kept a fish in her house, but it started to dry out, and she realized she couldn't keep one. Because of this, she created the company to ensure that sea creatures could live out of the water, turning it into a business. The director reveals that she has a robotic body. One day, while wanting to swim with piranhas, they ended up attacking her, and she could only save her head. She created a large robotic body to survive. Everyone is impressed by this revelation. The director also explains that she discovered their world through Sandy's experiments. When she found out about Bikini Bottom and its fascinating creatures, she decided they were perfect for her project. This makes Sandy feel guilty about everything. Bob ends up at the experiment site and realizes that he is being cloned. Mr. Krabs begs for Bob's release and manages to get his own dog to knock over Bob's container. One of the tiny Bobs goes to Sandy and tries to cheer her up, telling her that she is part of his family. This motivates Sandy to get back to work. The director's henchmen, realizing they are doing the wrong thing, help Sandy escape. Sandy goes up against the director, manipulating the circuits to make her start dancing. Finally, Sandy defeats her and takes away her robotic suit. The director is almost eaten by her mutant fish but realizes she has transformed into a fish herself, gaining control of it. Meanwhile, they discover that if they join two Bobs together, they merge into one. They begin gathering all the Bobs to create one full-sized Bob. At that moment, Sandy realizes that the capsule holding Bikini Bottom won't last long. She wants to call her relatives but can't whistle because she lost a tooth. Fortunately, Bob had taught her how to whistle, so she manages to call them. Using Sandy's calculated skills, they create a device to return Bikini Bottom to its home. Together, they energize the machine and soon are on their way home. After a while, everything returns to normal. As days go by, Bob and his friends create their own underwater circus, managed by Sandy's family. They even have guests they met on the surface. If you like the story, here are some more recommendations. Have a great day.